Hello everyone. The recent violence at the Assam Mizoram border is not the first instance of violence between the two states, as violence has been seen earlier also. To understand the origin of crisis, let's go back in history to the colonial time. British started tea plantation in Kachar Plain in the 19th century and expanded the area under tea plantation to increase productivity. Eventually, they expanded to Lushai Hills. Mizoram was known as Lushai Hills during British era. The encroachment of land by the British angered the Mizo people and dispute began. To prevent the reckless expansion of British entrepreneurs and to improve relations with the tribal people, British government passed Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation Act in 1873. In August 1875, the British government notified Kachar district as the southern border of Assam in a Gazette notification using powers under 1873 Act. Mizo's chiefs were consulted by marking the boundaries. Further, in 1933, Lushai Hills and the princely state of Manipur were demarcated. But the Mizo chiefs were not consulted this time. This is the genesis of the problem, as they have different perception about boundary by the two sides. On one hand, Mizoram does not recognize 1933 demarcation as the Mizo leaders were not consulted, while on the other hand, Assam government follows the 1933 demarcation. Before going forward, let us understand the history of Mizoram briefly. It was annexed by the British in 1891. And for the first few years, Lushai Hills in the north remained under Assam, while the southern remained under Bengal. Later, both these parts were amalgamated in 1898 into one district called Lushai Hills District. Mizoram was one of the districts of Assam till it became a union territory in 1972. In 1987, after a peace accord between the Mizos and the centre, Mizoram became the 23rd state of Indian Union. With respect to the boundary between Assam and Mizoram, these two states share 164.6 km border with the three Assam districts of Kachar, Hailakandi and Karimganj, sharing a border with Kolasil, Mamid and Aizwal districts of Mizoram. Further, the boundary between Mizoram and Assam follows naturally occurring barriers of hills, valleys, rivers and forests and skirmishes have been attributed to different perception of boundary lines. Coming to recent clashes before the one on July 26. In February 2018, there was violence when Students' Union Mizo Zirlai Paul built a wooden rest house for farmers on land that was claimed by Assam and which was demolished by Assam police. Again, in October 2020, clashes erupted twice in a week over construction of huts in Lailapur, which is in Assam, but on land claimed by Mizoram. There was an agreement signed by both states to maintain status quo in no man's land in the border area and no construction activity was allowed. But this status quo was not maintained. Violation of status quo led to violence. In the recent violence on 26 July, few Assam police persons were killed and many others injured. This violence has affected the lives of civilians also. Recently, ministers of both the states issued a joint statement declaring that the disputed area will be looked after by neutral forces from the centre, which is a welcome move. More steps should be taken to arrive at a solution because common people living at the border are bearing the brunt of violence. Thank you.